The vast expanse of space had never seemed so empty. Admiral Zaxtral of the Galactic Alliance stared at the holographic display, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly in disbelief. This can't be right," he muttered, mandibles clicking nervously. His second-in-command, Commander Vin Laura, approached cautiously. "Sir, what's wrong?" Zaxtral's exoskeleton shuddered as he turned to face her. "The Void Swarm. They've broken through the Zeta barrier. Millions of their ships are pouring into our space." Vin Laura's antennae drooped in shock. "Impossible. That barrier was supposed to hold for centuries." "Well, it didn't," Zaxtral snapped, his voice tinged with fear and frustration. "And now we're facing an extinction-level event. The swarm will consume everything in its path." The bridge of the Galactic Alliance flagship erupted into chaos as the news spread. Officers of various species rushed to their stations, frantically trying to process the unthinkable. "Sir," a young Quetzalian ensign called out, his bioluminescent spots pulsing with anxiety. "Reports coming in from the outer colonies. They're gone. Just gone." Zaxtral's exoskeleton paled. "How many?" 17 so far, Admiral. And the numbers rising fast. The Admiral's mind raced. The Void Swarm was unlike anything they'd faced before. A hive mind of sentient nanobots, consuming all matter in their path to fuel their endless expansion. They'd first appeared on the fringes of the galaxy decades ago, but the Zeta barrier was supposed to keep them at bay. "Get me the Council," Zaxtral barked. "We need to mobilize every ship, every weapon we have." As the communication channel opened, revealing the concerned faces of the Galactic Council, Zaxtral realized the magnitude of what they were facing. The Alliance, a confederation of over 1,000 spacefaring species, had never seemed so small and fragile. "Counselors," he began, his voice grave, "I bring dire news. The Void Swarm has breached the Zeta barrier. They're advancing faster than we ever anticipated. We've already lost multiple colonies." The council chamber erupted into pandemonium. Voices overlapped in a cacophony of fear and disbelief. "Silence!" roared Counselor Exantelos, the elder draconian scales shimmering with barely contained rage. "Admiral, what are our options?" Zaxtral's mandibles clicked uncertainly. We don't have many, Counselor. Our most advanced weapons barely slow them down. They adapt too quickly. At this rate, they'll reach the core worlds in less than a standard cycle." A heavy silence fell over the council chamber. The weight of impending doom pressed down on every being present. "There must be something we can do." Counselor Elodie, the luminous Etherian, pleaded. Her voice quivered with desperation. "We can't just give up." Zaxtral was about to respond when an alert flashed on his console. "What now?" he growled, tapping the screen. His eyes widened as he read the message. It was from the Deep Space Monitoring Station in the Orion Arm, a largely unexplored region of the galaxy. "Counselors," he said slowly, hardly believing what he was about to say. "We're picking up a transmission from a previously unknown species in the Orion Arm. They're offering help." "Help?" Counselor Exantelos scoffed. "What could some backwater species possibly offer against the Void Swarm?" Zaxtral read further, his disbelief growing with each word. "They claim to have faced similar threats before. They say they have unconventional methods that might work." "Who are these beings?" Elodie asked, a faint glimmer of hope in her ethereal voice. Zaxtral looked up at the council, his 4 eyes wide with a mixture of confusion and desperate hope. "They call themselves humans." As the word echoed through the chamber, none present could have possibly imagined how this unknown species would change the fate of the galaxy. The stage was set, and humanity was about to make its grand entrance. The Galactic Council Chamber, usually a bastion of order and decorum, had descended into chaos. The news of the Void Swarm's advance and the mysterious offer from an unknown species called humans had shattered the composure of even the most seasoned diplomats. "This is madness," bellowed Counselor Grax, his gelatinous form rippling with agitation. "We can't possibly trust the fate of the galaxy to some primitive species we've never even heard of." Counselor Elodie's bioluminescent patterns flashed in disagreement. But what choice do we have? Our own methods are failing. We need a new perspective. Admiral Zaxtral stood silently, watching the debate unfold. His mind raced, weighing the risks against the rapidly dwindling alternatives. Enough! Counselor Exintalos roared, silencing the chamber. Admiral, what do we know about these humans? Zaxtral cleared his throat nervously. Not much, Counselor. They're from a planet called Earth in the Orion Arm. Apparently, they've only achieved faster-than-light travel within the last century. But their message claims they've faced extinction-level threats multiple times and survived. Huh. Likely exaggeration, sneered Grax. What could such a young species know of true cosmic threats? Suddenly, a new voice cut through the tension. Perhaps more than we might think. All eyes turned to Counselor Genevieve, the ancient axiom. Her crystalline form shimmered as she spoke, her voice carrying the weight of millennia. I've heard whispers, she continued, of a species in that sector of space. Rumors speak of beings with unorthodox problem-solving abilities. Adaptable, unpredictable. The chamber fell silent, hanging on her every word. It said they've overcome challenges that should have wiped them out dozens of times over. Through sheer stubbornness, ingenuity, or madness. Perhaps all three. Zaxtral's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. Their transmission mentioned unconventional methods. Could this be what they meant? Counselor Exintalos leaned forward, scales glinting in the chamber's light. Genevieve, you're not seriously suggesting we pin our hopes on these rumors? The axiom's crystalline form pulsed softly. In times of desperation, Exintalos, even the slimmest hope may be worth grasping. A tense silence fell over the chamber. The weight of the decision pressed down on every being present. Finally, Admiral Zaxtral spoke. Counselors, the void swarm advances as we debate. Every moment we hesitate, more worlds fall. I propose we accept the humans' offer, but with caution. We'll send a delegation to meet them, assess their capabilities, and determine if their help is genuine. Murmurs of reluctant agreement rippled through the chamber. And who, asked Counselor Elodie, would you send on such a critical mission? Zaxtral straightened, his exoskeleton creaking slightly. I'll go myself, along with a small team of our best scientists and diplomats. We can't afford to take any chances. Counselor Exintalos nodded grimly. Very well, Admiral. You have the Council's authority. But be warned, if these humans prove to be a threat rather than an ally, you are to terminate contact immediately. Understood? Perfectly, Counselor, Zaxtral replied, suppressing a shudder at the thought of yet another potential enemy. As the Council session adjourned, Zaxtral couldn't shake the feeling that the galaxy was about to change forever. For better or worse, humanity was about to enter the galactic stage. He turned to his second-in-command. Vin Laura, prepare the Starweaver for immediate departure, and send a message to Earth. Tell them we're coming. As Vin Laura hurried off to carry out his orders, Zaxtral gazed out at the star-filled viewport. Somewhere out there, an unknown species held the potential salvation, or damnation, of the entire galaxy. By the cosmic core, he muttered, I hope we're not making a terrible mistake. Little did he know, the humans were about to exceed every expectation, shatter every preconception, and redefine what was possible in ways that would leave the galaxy forever changed. The stage was set. Humanity's entrance was imminent, and the universe held its breath, waiting to see what this unpredictable species would do. The Starweaver dropped out of hyperspace with a flash of cerulean light, its sleek form gliding towards the third planet of an unremarkable yellow star. Admiral Zaxtral stood on the bridge, all four of his eyes fixed on the view screen. So, this is Earth, he murmured, mandibles clicking softly in anticipation. Commander Vin Laura approached, her antennae twitching nervously. Sir, we're being hailed by a vessel approaching from the planet's moon. On screen, Zaxtral ordered, straightening his posture. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a sight that made the entire bridge crew gasp. The being on the screen was unlike anything they'd seen before. No exoskeleton, no tentacles, no bioluminescence. Just soft, pinkish skin and a tuft of fur on top of its head. "Greetings, representatives of the Galactic Alliance," the human said, its lips curving upward in what Zaxtral hoped was a friendly gesture. "I'm Admiral Chun of the United Earth Fleet. Welcome to our solar system." Zaxtral cleared his throat. "Thank you, Admiral Chun. I am Admiral Zaxtral. We've come in response to your unexpected offer of assistance." Chen's expression turned serious. "Yes, the Void Swarm. We've been monitoring the situation. It's not good, is it?" "That's putting it mildly," Zaxtral replied, unable to keep the bitterness from his voice. "Entire systems are being devoured as we speak. But, forgive my bluntness, Admiral Chun, how can your species possibly help? You've only recently achieved interstellar travel and dash, and you're wondering what a bunch of cosmic newbies could do against a threat that's got the entire Galactic Alliance running scared?" Cheon interrupted, a glint in his eye that Zaxtral couldn't quite interpret. "Well, yes," Zaxtral admitted, feeling slightly embarrassed. Chen's lips curved again, this time revealing a row of blunt teeth. "Admiral Zaxtral, humanity has been preparing for this moment for centuries. Long before we reached the stars, we imagined threats just like this. We've been developing strategies, technologies, and let's call them unconventional approaches to deal with exactly this kind of scenario." Venlora leaned in, whispering to Zaxtral, "Sir, they couldn't possibly have known about the Void Swarm before. This human must be exaggerating." Cheon, apparently having overheard, let out a barking sound that Zaxtral would later learn was laughter. "Not the Void Swarm specifically, Commander, but cosmic horrors intent on wiping out all life? Oh, we've been dreaming up those for a long time, and figuring out how to beat them." Zaxtral's mandibles clicked rapidly in confusion. "You imagine threats that didn't exist? Why?" "Entertainment, mostly," Chen shrugged. "But it led to some pretty creative problem-solving. Now, how about you dock with our station, and we can show you what we've got in mind." As the Starweaver approached the massive orbital station, Zaxtral and his team were struck by the sheer variety of ships surrounding it. Sleek fighters, bulky freighters, and vessels of shapes that defied easy categorization swarmed around like insects in a hive. Once aboard, they were led to a vast war room. Holographic displays showed the advancing Void Swarm, its progress marked in ominous red. "All right," Chen said, clapping his hands together. "Let's get down to business. We've got a galaxy to save." What followed was a whirlwind of ideas that left Zaxtral and his team reeling. The humans proposed tactics that ranged from the brilliant to the seemingly insane. Weaponizing black holes, unleashing engineered viruses against the swarm's nanobots, and even suggesting they could hack the hive mind itself. "This is unprecedented," exclaimed Dr. Xinla, the team's lead scientist, her tentacles writhing in a mix of excitement and disbelief. "Half of these ideas defy known physics." Chung grinned. "Known physics has a way of expanding when you push hard enough. But here's the kicker. We don't need all of these to work. We just need enough of them to work." Zaxtral felt a glimmer of hope for the first time since the Void Swarm breached the Zeta barrier. "You really think we can defeat them? Defeat them?" Chen's expression turned fierce. "Admiral, we're going to make these cosmic bastards regret ever entering our galaxy." As the planning session continued deep into the Earth night, Zaxtral realized that the galaxy's fate now rested in the hands of these strange, soft-skinned beings. Beings who had spent centuries preparing for a fight they couldn't have known was coming. The stage was set. Humanity had made its entrance, and the Void Swarm was about to face an enemy unlike any it had encountered before. "May the Cosmic Core have mercy on us all," Zaxtral muttered, "because it's clear these humans won't have any for our enemies." As the combined fleet of the Galactic Alliance and Earth's forces assembled at the edge of the Void Swarm's advance, tension crackled through every ship like lightning. Admiral Zaxtral stood on the bridge of the Starweaver, his exoskeleton practically vibrating with nervous energy. "Status report," he barked, all four eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the vast armada. Commander Venlora's antennae twitched as she responded, "All ships report ready, Admiral. The human vessels are, well, they're doing something, but I'm not entirely sure what." Zaxtral clicked his mandibles in frustration. The humans had been maddeningly vague about some of their preparations, insisting that the less the Void Swarm could potentially learn in advance, the better. Suddenly, the comm channel crackled to life. "This is Admiral Chon. All ships, prepare for Operation Pandora's Box. T-minus 60 seconds. A ripple of confused murmurs spread across the Starweaver's bridge. Pandora's Box? Vinlora whispered. What in the cosmic core is that? Before Zaxtral could respond, the void before them erupted in a dazzling display of light and energy. Hundreds of small, sleek human ships darted forward, each trailing what looked like strings of glowing energy. By the ancient stars, gasped Dr. Exinlaw from her station. They're creating a web of quantum entanglement fields. But on this scale, it should be impossible. As they watched in awe, the human ships wove an intricate pattern through space, leaving behind a shimmering network that stretched for thousands of kilometers. Admiral Chin's voice came through again, tinged with grim satisfaction. Quantum web deployed. Now for the fun part. All Alliance ships, stand by. Things are about to get weird. Zaxtral gripped his command chair, mandibles clicking rapidly. What are they, Dash? His question was cut short as reality itself seemed to twist. The space within the quantum web rippled, like the surface of a pond disturbed by a thrown stone. And then, with a flash that momentarily blinded every visual sensor in the fleet, a colossal shape emerged from nowhere. Impossible! Vinlora shrieked, her usual composure shattered. Floating before them, easily the size of a small moon, was a construct of metal and energy that defied easy description. Its surface crawled with symbols and equations that hurt the eyes to look at directly. Ladies, gentlemen, and beings of all designations, Admiral Chin's voice rang out, a note of fierce pride evident. Allow me to introduce you to humanity's trump card. We call it the Infinity Engine. Zaxtral found his voice at last. Chun, what have you done? The human admiral's reply was filled with a savage glee that sent shivers down Zaxtral's exoskeleton. Oh, nothing much. We've just turned a chunk of higher-dimensional space into a weapon. You wanted unconventional? Well, buckle up, because we're about to rewrite the laws of physics in our favor. As if on cue, the Void Swarm appeared on long-range sensors, a roiling mass of metallic death consuming everything in its path. All Alliance ships, hold position, Chun commanded. Let them come to us. When I give the word, unleash everything you've got. But for now, watch the show. The Infinity Engine hummed to life, its surface now glowing with an inner light that seemed to bend and twist the very fabric of space around it. As the Void Swarm approached, tendrils of energy reached out from the massive construct, probing, testing, and then, with a sound that shouldn't have been possible in the vacuum of space, a roar that resonated through the hull of every ship, the Infinity Engine unleashed its power. Reality fractured. The leading edge of the Void Swarm simply ceased to exist. Trillions of nanobots winked out of existence in an instant. But that was just the beginning. The space behind the vanished swarm began to warp, twisting in on itself, creating gravitational eddies and time dilation fields that tore the approaching horde apart. Holy, what is happening? Vinlora cried out, her voice a mixture of terror and awe. Dr. Exinlaw's tentacles were a blur as she frantically analyzed the sensor data. It's rewriting local space-time. The laws of physics within that region are being altered. Zaxtral watched in stunned silence as the seemingly invincible Void Swarm was torn asunder by forces he couldn't begin to comprehend. Entire sections of the horde were compressed into infinitesimal points, while others were stretched across light years in the blink of an eye. Admiral Chin's voice cut through the chaos, sharp and commanding. Phase 1 complete. All ships attack. Hit them while they're reorganizing. The combined fleet surged forward, weapons blazing. Beams of energy and swarms of missiles joined the reality-warping assault of the Infinity Engine. The Void Swarm, for the first time in its existence, seemed to hesitate. As the battle raged, Zaxtral felt a mixture of hope and terror unlike anything he'd experienced in his long career. The humans had done the impossible. They'd changed the rules of the game entirely. But as he watched the Infinity Engine's power tear apart the very fabric of space, he couldn't help but wonder. In saving the galaxy, what else might they be unleashing? The tide had turned, but the war was far from over. And humanity's unconventional methods were just getting started. The void of space erupted into a kaleidoscope of destruction as the combined fleet of the Galactic Alliance and humanity unleashed their full might upon the reeling void swarm. Energy beams lanced across impossible distances, guided missiles weaved through the chaos with unerring precision, and the Infinity Engine continued to warp reality itself. Admiral Zakstral's mandibles clicked rapidly as he barked orders, coordinating the Alliance fleet's movements. Cruiser Division, concentrate fire on Sector 7. Don't let them regroup. The battle raged on, a cosmic dance of death and defiance. The Void Swarm, for the first time in its existence, found itself on the defensive. Yet, even as trillions of its nanobots were obliterated, the hive mind adapted, evolving new strategies with terrifying speed. "Admiral," Laura called out, her antennae twitching frantically. "The swarm is changing its formation. They're trying to bypass the Infinity Engine's effect." Zakstral hissed in frustration. "Clever bastards. Relay this to Admiral Chun immediately." But the humans, it seemed, were already one step ahead. A new wave of smaller craft suddenly burst from the hangars of the larger Earth vessels. These ships moved with a fluidity that defied belief, leaving trails of shimmering energy in their wake. Admiral Chin's voice crackled over the comm, "Deploying our Phantom Squadron. Time to show these nanobots what real adaptability looks like." The human ships danced through the battlefield, their movements unpredictable and mesmerizing. Wherever they passed, the Void Swarm's attempts to regroup were thwarted, its newly evolved strategies disrupted before they could take hold. Dr. Xionlaw's tentacles writhed in excitement as she analyzed the data. "Fascinating. These human ships are generating localized fields of quantum uncertainty. They're literally becoming probabilistic entities." Zakstral's eyes widened in disbelief. "You mean they're existing in multiple states simultaneously?" "Yes." Dr. Xionlaw's voice was filled with wonder. "The swarm can't predict their movements because they're essentially everywhere and nowhere at once." As the battle raged on, the tide began to turn decisively in favor of the Allied fleet. The Void Swarm, for all its adaptive capabilities, found itself outmatched by the sheer insanity of human ingenuity combined with the tried-and-true might of the Galactic Alliance. But victory, it seemed, would not come without cost. "Admiral," Laura's voice was tense. "The Infinity Engine, its power output is becoming unstable." On the main view screen, the massive construct at the heart of their strategy began to pulse erratically, its surface crawling with equations that seemed to be rewriting themselves in real time. Admiral Chin's voice came through, tinged with a mix of excitement and concern. "This is it, people. The engine's about to go critical. All ships, prepare for emergency warp, jump on my mark." Zakstral felt a moment of panic. "Chun, what are you doing?" "Ending this," came the grim reply. "In about 30 seconds, that engine is going to collapse in on itself. When it does, it'll create a cascading reality fracture that'll wipe out the swarm once and for all. But we need to be far away when it happens." The next moments were a blur of frantic activity. Ships disengaged from battle, aligning themselves for faster-than-light jumps. The Void Swarm, sensing the shift, pressed its attack with renewed vigor. 10 seconds. Chin's voice rang out. "Brace for jump. Now." In a dazzling display of coordinated movement, the entire Allied fleet vanished into hyperspace just as the Infinity Engine reached critical mass. For a brief moment, all was silent. Then, with a flash that outshone entire galaxies, the engine collapsed. The resulting explosion defied description, tearing apart the very fabric of space-time within a radius of several light-years. When the fleet emerged from hyperspace minutes later, they were greeted by a sight none would ever forget. Where the heart of the Void Swarm had been, there was now nothing. A vast, empty expanse of space, devoid of even background radiation. We did it," Laura whispered, her voice filled with awe. Zakstral sagged in his command chair, exhaustion and relief washing over him in equal measure. Indeed we did, Commander. Thanks to our new allies. As the realization of their victory began to sink in, a new transmission came through. Admiral Chin's face appeared on the view screen, looking tired but triumphant. "Well, folks," he said with a weary grin, "I'd say that's one for the history books. Now, who's up for a drink? I think we've all earned one." As cheers erupted across the fleet, Zaxtral couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions. They had saved the galaxy, yes, but in doing so, they had unleashed forces beyond their full understanding. As he looked out at the starfield, now forever changed by the battle they just won, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Humanity had taken the stage, and the performance had been unforgettable. The galaxy would never be the same again. The aftermath of the battle was a surreal mix of euphoria and disbelief. As the combined fleet regrouped in a nearby star system, the full impact of what they had accomplished began to sink in. Admiral Zaxtral stood in the Starweaver's observation deck, gazing out at the assembled ships. The sleek vessels of the Galactic Alliance floated alongside the eclectic array of human crafts, a visual representation of the unlikely alliance that had just saved the galaxy. "It's quite a sight, isn't it?" Admiral Chin's voice came from behind him. Zaxtral turned, his four eyes blinking in rapid succession. "Indeed it is. I must admit, Admiral Chun, I had my doubts about your species. But what you've done today, it's unprecedented." Chen chuckled, a sound that Zaxtral was starting to associate with the human's particular brand of confidence. "Oh, we're just getting started. This was only Act 1. Before Zaxtral could inquire further, the door slid open, admitting Commander Vin Laura and Dr. Exela. The scientist's tentacles were practically vibrating with excitement. "Admirals," she exclaimed, "you need to see this. We've just finished analyzing the data from the battle, and, well, it's extraordinary." A holographic display sprang to life in the center of the room, showing a time-lapse of the Void Swarm's destruction. As they watched, the Infinity Engine's collapse created a ripple effect that spread far beyond the initial blast radius. The reality fracture didn't just destroy the swarm, Dr. Exinla explained, her voice filled with wonder. It's fundamentally altered the quantum structure of that entire sector of space. The laws of physics there are different now. Venlora's antennae twitched nervously. Different how? Cheon leaned forward, his eyes gleaming with interest. "Let me guess. Faster than light travel is easier there now? And I bet the energy outputs are off the charts." Dr. Exinla's tentacles writhed in surprise. "Why yes. How did you know?" The human admiral's lips curved into that now familiar grin. "Because that's exactly what we were hoping for. Ladies, gentlemen, and distinguished beings, welcome to the dawn of a new era in galactic exploration and development." Zaxtral felt his exoskeleton tighten with a mix of excitement and apprehension. "You planned this? But the risks, the unknown variables?" "Sometimes," Chen said, his voice taking on a more serious tone, "you have to roll the dice to change the game." Yes, it was a risk, but a calculated one. We didn't just save the galaxy today. We gave it a whole new frontier to explore. As the implications began to sink in, Vin Laura spoke up, her voice filled with a mix of awe and concern. "But what about the Galactic Council? The political ramifications of this, it's enormous." Chun nodded, his expression turning thoughtful. "Which is why we're going to need to work together more closely than ever. This isn't just humanity's discovery to exploit. We want to partner with the Galactic Alliance to explore and develop this new frontier together." Zaxtral found himself nodding slowly. "It would certainly ease a lot of tensions if we approached this collaboratively. But I must warn you, not everyone in the Alliance will be thrilled about this sudden shift in the balance of power." "Oh, I'm counting on it," Chen replied, a glint of mischief in his eyes. "Nothing brings people together like a good challenge. And trust me, exploring this new frontier is going to be one hell of a challenge." As they continued to discuss the implications of their victory, Zaxtral couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement he hadn't experienced in centuries. The galaxy had been saved, yes, but more than that, it had been transformed. The Void Swarm, once the greatest threat to all life, had become the catalyst for a new age of discovery and cooperation. And humanity, the newcomers on the galactic stage, had proven themselves to be not just allies, but visionaries. "Well then, Admiral Chun," Zaxtral said, extending a limb in the human gesture of a handshake he'd recently learned. "It seems our adventure is just beginning." Chun grasped his hand firmly, grinning from ear to ear. "Oh, you have no idea. Buckle up, my friend. The galaxy's about to get a whole lot more interesting." As the two leaders sealed their newfound partnership, the stars outside seemed to shine just a little brighter. The stage had been set, the performance had been spectacular, and now it was time for the encore. And if there was one thing the galaxy was learning about humans, it was that they always aim to outdo themselves. The news of the Void Swarm's defeat spread across the galaxy like a supernova, igniting celebrations on countless worlds. But as the initial euphoria faded, the true ramifications of humanity's actions began to ripple through the intricate political landscape of the Galactic Alliance. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council was buzzing with tension as representatives from 1,000 species gathered for an emergency session. Admiral Zaxtral stood at the center, flanked by Admiral Chan and a small delegation of human scientists and diplomats. "Order! I will have order!" Counselor Exantalos roared, his draconian scales shimmering with barely contained agitation. As the chamber quieted, Zaxtral stepped forward. "Esteemed counselors, I stand before you today not just as an admiral of the Alliance, but as a witness to events that will reshape our galaxy for generations to come." He recounted the battle, the deployment of the Infinity Engine, and the unexpected aftermath. As he spoke, holograms flickered to life, showing the altered region of space where physics itself had been rewritten. "The threat of the Void Swarm is over," Zaxtral concluded. "But we now face a new frontier, one filled with both incredible opportunity and unknown dangers." The chamber erupted into chaos. Voices overlapped in a cacophony of excitement, fear, and outrage. "Silence!" Counselor Elodie's ethereal voice cut through the noise. Her luminous form pulsed with intensity as she addressed the human delegation. "Admiral Chun, while we are grateful for your assistance, the ramifications of your actions are staggering. You've altered the very fabric of our galaxy without consultation." Chun stepped forward, his posture relaxed but his eyes sharp. "With all due respect, Counselor, we didn't have time for a committee meeting while facing galactic extinction. We acted, and in doing so, we've given all of us a gift, a new realm of scientific discovery and resources." Counselor Grax's gelatinous form rippled with agitation. "A gift? You've upset the balance of power. Who's to say you humans won't use this new frontier to dominate the rest of us?" "That's exactly why we're here," Chin replied, his voice firm. "We're proposing a joint exploration and development initiative. All species, working together to unravel the mysteries of this altered space." The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. It was Counselor Genevieve, the ancient axiom, who broke the silence. "In all my millennia, I've never witnessed such a paradigm shift. We stand at a crossroads, my fellow beings. We can choose fear and isolation, or we can embrace this new era of collaboration and discovery." What followed was hours of intense debate. Concerns were raised about safety, resource allocation, and the potential militarization of the altered space. The human delegation answered each query with a mix of scientific insight and diplomatic finesse that gradually won over even the most skeptical counselors. As the session neared its end, Counselor Exantalos called for a vote. Those in favor of establishing a joint galactic exploration initiative in partnership with humanity signify your approval. One by one, holographic indicators lit up across the chamber. It wasn't unanimous, but it was a clear majority. "The motion carries," Exantalos announced, his voice a mix of resignation and grudging respect. "May the cosmic core guide us in this new endeavor." As the council adjourned, Admiral Zaxtral found himself standing next to Chun, watching the delegates file out. "Well," Chun said with a grin, "that went better than expected. Only 3 accusations of warmongering and no assassination attempts. I call that a win." Zakstral's mandibles clicked, and what Cheon had learned was the Zarlashian equivalent of a chuckle. Indeed, but this is just the beginning. The real work starts now. Chun nodded, his expression turning serious. You're right. We've got a galaxy to reshape, mysteries to unravel, and probably a few more crises to avert along the way. But you know what? His grin returned, wider than ever. I wouldn't have it any other way. As they left the chamber, stepping out into a corridor bustling with beings from across the galaxy, Zakstral felt a sense of anticipation unlike anything he'd experienced in his long career. The future was uncertain, filled with challenges and wonders in equal measure. But one thing was clear. Humanity had not just taken the stage, they had transformed it. The galaxy would never be the same, and deep down, Zakstral knew that was exactly what they all needed. As news of the Council's decision spread, a wave of excitement swept across the stars. Research vessels were prepped, exploration teams assembled, and a new spirit of cooperation began to take hold. The stage was set for the next great act in the cosmic drama, and this time, all species would play their part, with humanity leading the charge into the unknown. The galaxy held its breath, wondering what impossibilities would become reality next. After all, if there was one thing they'd learned about humans, it was this. They were just getting started.